Rush Nation, and welcome to another edition of Faction Action Friday. We are flying through the season, and we are already on to week 5. Those of you who are watching, you can see that we have our full lineup this week. So, Lewis, how's things, mate?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Sweet. And obviously, the trio wouldn't be complete without Statman himself. Rob, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm on my third string laptop at the moment, so we're going to struggle on through. Let's just see how things go.
Yeah, sweet. Well, let's get to it. It's Thursday night throwback.
This is what I needed. People at the door.
So Thursday night football took us to Mile High, and the only two horses in town as the Colts played the Broncos. Both teams had lost a crucial piece of their offense last week, with fantasy players all around the world, I suppose, climbing over themselves to pick up their replacements from the waiver wire. Did those pickups have any effect on the game? Well, as we know, Nyheim Hines, he had 1 carry and 2 targets before leaving the game. And Mike Boone was the guy in Denver people were snapping up. And he actually scored 11.5 points, which I don't think is too bad for a stand-in, although it was very much Melvin Gordon's backfield. So, quick overview of last night's game. Was it good or not? Well, not. Woeful offensively. Alec Pierce led the match on 16.1 PPR points. Nobody else had over 15. So, yeah, not very good.
Yeah, like looking at the quarterbacks, I mean, it's just going to be fast here. Wilson, it was 21 for 39, 274 yards, 2 interceptions. He had a nice run early on, and then that was it. So I don't need to say any more on that. And same goes for Ryan, 26 from 41, 251 yards, 2 interceptions. Again, I don't need to say any more on that. Bad.
It was pretty bad. And I made a few comparisons for Russell Wilson. If you know Premier League football, Russell Wilson is the NFL's Alan Pardew. Big contract, long time, and they're just a massive flop afterwards, really. Covering the offensive fantasy players, like we've all covered, below average. Hines out early with a concussion on the first drive, and that left Deion Jackson and Philip Lindsay with the keys to the backfield. Jackson was more efficient with the average carries. Both got 4 targets, so it was decent potential for fantasy points if you had to get them in somewhere. Pierce and Pittman led in targets, decent yardage for the rookie, and there was a Mo Ali Cox regression, no touchdowns anywhere. As for the Broncos, we had Judy and Sutton getting their usual target share. No real substance in terms of the completions, but I think the KJ Hamler frustration at the end of the game, that pretty much summed up how bad the offense was in that game.
The jumping over to the defenses, they were both all right, but whether or not that was because both offenses were so bad or what, we don't know. The Broncos got 6 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and of course 2 interceptions. The Colts got 4 sacks and 2 interceptions, and I think it's just best to leave it at that for Thursday night football from this week. Next up is the injury report.
All right, well, we'll have a quick recap. Thursday night injuries. Hines, he had a concussion protocol after a big hit. Is it Doolin? He's got a foot injury as well. Doolin, he's got a foot injury this week as well.
Quarterback injuries to look out for on week 5. Dak Prescott probably won't be back for week 5. The timeline keeps moving further down. For the Giants, who are in London this weekend, Daniel Jones hurt his knee. Tyrod Taylor suffered a concussion. So it was looking like Davis Webb was going to be pulled up from the practice squad for the Packers game. But after Daniel Jones was limited Wednesday and Thursday, he came off the injury report a couple of hours ago. Jameis Winston was out week 4 in London, and he hasn't practiced on Wednesday or Thursday with the back and the ankle issue. And earlier in the week, Tua was ruled out for week 5. Teddy Bridgewater will get the start. He's probably my favourite backup in the league. And he'll certainly have some fantasy value, I think, playing against the Jets, especially in Superflex leagues.
Nice. All right, going into the running backs, absolutely gutted about this one. Javonte Williams, his season's over. And the issues that he's got with his knee as well, it might not make it for the week 1 in 2023 as well. His ACL, LCL, PCL, pretty much every CL going all messed up. So, yes, not good. Jonathan Taylor, he's ruled out for week 5. His ankle went last week, which is not good. Keep an eye out for week 6 as well, because that's going to be up and down as well. Obviously, we saw Cordell Patterson. He also has knee issues for the last few weeks, and he finally went under a procedure to then see him hit the IR. It's the minimum 4-week one, so he might actually come back. We'll just see. Again, have to look out for that one. JohnDre Swift, he missed week 4 with his shoulder. Dan Campbell doesn't want to rush him back. So, again, might not feature until Detroit's bye week in week 6. So, again, need to keep watching that one. And Alvin Kamara was a late rule out for the London game last week. His ribs have been limiting him Wednesday, Thursday. But word has it that he could be good to go this week. It might be a game time one to watch out for.
Yeah, he says he's fit. He's ready to get out there. But, I think he said that about the Thursday, about the London game as well. Wide receivers, got T. Higgins. He sprained his ankle in the opening possession, but went on to lead the Bengals in catches and yards on the Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins. But he was limited in 2 training sessions this week, so keep an eye out for those sleeper statuses that come up. Keenan Allen, it says he's dealing with a hamstring injury. He picked him in week 1. There are rumours that he actually re-injured the injury after making some progress on it as well, so that's hurt him a bit more. He didn't practice this week either, so it's very unlikely he'll be making an appearance. Amon-Ra St. Brown, it sounds like he had a limited appearance, a limited practice today, so it could be that he's questionable for the weekend, but not totally ruled out. So that could be a good sign. Yeah, the Lions will miss him. Hunter Renfrow has missed 2 games so far with a concussion, but he has been a full participant this week, so that is some competition for Matt Collins in that receiving group. Michael Thomas, he missed week 4 in London with a foot injury. He's trending to miss another week in week 5, and Landry's also limited as well. So this could be another week for Mr. Olave, Mr. Pitts.
Oh yeah, I like Mr. Olave. I think all my my flex spots are all a week late.
That's what I said last time.
Right, tight ends finally. Beginning of this week, more middle of this week, there wasn't really any news, and then today seems to have gone off. So Cal Pitts out for week 5. Hasn't really made a difference this season anyway, so not much to cover there. Some other players to watch. So Hayden Hurst, he's got a groin injury, he's limited Wednesday and Thursday. Jonnu Smith, likely to miss time. Gerald Everett, limited on Thursday. Cameron Bray, he is out. Dawson Knox is also out. And Logan Thomas is also questionable. So quite a rundown there the last few minutes before we came on live.
Yeah.
Right. Third segment, weak points. All right. So let's get straight to these weaknesses. Weakness against the quarterback. Same teams, but a different order this week. Tells us a lot about the consistent weaknesses in the teams, not just the matchups. The Lions have been averaging 25.9 points. And this week, they're at the Patriots. Jones had limited practice, could be going, but also could be interesting to see what happens if the rookie Zap. Is it Zap? Zappe. Good to go if not. So that'll be one to watch. Ravens, they have let in 24.9 points on average. They are against the Bengals. Obviously, the Bengals O-line is still having issues, but Burrow hasn't thrown a pick since week 1, so he could be having some fun against this D. And then the Dolphins, 24.7 points on average. This week, they're at the Jets. Zach Wilson is back. 25-plus points in the season debut week 4, definitely one to watch.
The weakest against running backs. is the Houston Texans, letting up 29.9 points on average. They're facing the very in-form Jacksonville Jaguars. James Robinson should have a bounce-back game this week, and I'd be starting him wherever I have him. Same goes for Etienne. This could be his breakout week, because I'd expect the Jags to get out in front early in this one. So the running backs could see a lot of usage. The Lions coming in second, 28.4 points on average against the Patriots. So that's another 1A, 1B system, like I mentioned, with Robinson and Etienne. Obviously, you got Harris and Ramondre Stevenson there, both having modest seasons with splash weeks. But Rashad Penny exploded last week against the Lions, 30 plus PPR points. I think it was 140 something yards or 50 something yards. But anyway, the third weakest against running backs is the Los Angeles Chargers. They're pretty good everywhere except for against running backs, letting up 26.5 points on average. They're at Cleveland, so it's a third 1A, 1B system against the weakest teams against running backs. You got Nick Chubb, he's currently the PPR RB1, 100 plus scrimmage yards every week so far. Kareem Hunt hasn't really been up to what he can do, maybe partly because of Chubb being brilliant, but who knows with that offense. But yeah, that's the running backs.
It's about time that the Browns get those fourth quarter drives where it's just Chubb, Hunt, Chubb, Hunt, Chubb, Hunt, and then they get the touchdown. So this one could get away from Los Angeles if they're not careful. Weakest getting for wide receivers. The Ravens are top here with 41.2 points on average a week. They are playing the Bengals. This is a divisional matchup, so very high stakes, very high tension, and it's all going to be about that O-line once again. So if they can keep Joby upright, it's going to be a long day for the Ravens secondary. Higgins and Boyd, if Higgins plays, of course, and not to forget Jamar Chase as well. In second, we've got the Commanders. They are facing the Titans. They've conceded 40.2 fantasy points on average a game so far this season. One to watch out for here, Bobby Trees, the good old Robert Woods. He's been making steady progress these last few weeks. And Treylon Burks looks like he's going to miss some time. Phillips is also looking like he's going to be missing some time too. So Woods is going to be a good option here. And then in third, we've got the Rams, 39.4 points. They are against the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb has gone from dud to stud, 2 big weeks. Michael Gallup is back and had a great week last week as well. And Noah Brown still hogging some targets too. Dalton Schultz came back, which I imagine we'll talk about as well. But those 3 wide receivers, as mentioned previously, they could be having a big game against the Rams.
Nice. Yeah, so weakest against Titan then. Seahawks top the charts. They let an average about 18 fantasy points. They leapfrogged the 2 teams below them after being hocked by TJ last week. Absolute monster performance from him. They're at the Saints. Juan Johnson was the converted wide receiver. Could be a friend of Dalton if he is to start again. Then second place was Cardinals and Regime at 16.5 points against. They're against the Eagles, so got it worth a watch. And then the Falcons, 15.7 points. They're at the Bucks. No Titans really worth noting. Cameron Brady, we've just said, is out. Potentially a Chris Godwin slot. Big week for him, maybe. We'll see. Right, final segment then. It is Flex of the Week.
I will kick us off with Flex of the Week this week. So it's a player who we believe you can stick in your flex spot and they're going to produce you the goods. And I am going for Michael Gallup. So as we mentioned not so long ago, the Rams are third worst against wide receivers. He looked good last week on his season debut, coming back from injury. 64% of the snaps. He caught 2 of only 3 targets, but he did find the end zone. Noah Brown's also been limited this week, so all them targets he's been hogging. Gallup could be stepping up to that wide receiver 2 position for Dallas this week. Cooper Rush has been all right. It looks like he'll continue to do well because they'll be passing a lot because of the Rams' rushing defense led by Aaron Donald, of course. CeeDee Lamb's going to be covered by Jalen Ramsey, who has struggled against some other big wide receivers this season, but Could it be the game where he shuts someone down? But I'll be flexing Gallup with confidence this week. Any league I've got him in.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That's good. All right, my pick then. We've already spoken about him against the Lions. It's Ramondre Stevenson. Running back for the Patriots. This week they're up against that Lions D. And as we've seen from the Lions games this season, I don't think they have a D. They let in quite a few points. So we got that shoot up last week as well. So that was pretty just non-existent, really, isn't it? Also for Stevenson, he's racked up the team's most scrimmage yards last week, getting 14 carries and also getting involved with the receiving game too, with 4 receptions from 5. In fact, the last 2 games, he's had solid numbers in both rushing and receiving, and I expect him to carry on that trend, especially against this team.
Nice. 2 solid picks so far. Hopefully I can add to it with my pick. I am choosing the duvet man himself, Devin Duvernay, for the Ravens. The reason I'm choosing him is because Rashad Bateman hasn't been training this week, so likely will be limited in this game. And Duvernay's snaps have been steadily increasing over the weeks as well. So he had those flash plays in week 1, dipped a little bit week 2, week 3, and then we've seen a trend coming up for targets and receptions in week 4, and I expect that to continue. Andrews, he's the big target in this team, big tight end, and then Duvernay can find the gaps in the coverage left from those defenders taking on the tight end. Like all the Ravens games so far, I can see this being a high-scoring game. So Lamar may need to continue to throw it to keep them in the game. It is the Bengals, like we've covered. It is a big divisional game. There'll be a lot of pride on the line here, and I feel that the Ravens will want to stay in it. So watch out for Duvernay.
Nice. Yeah, like that one too. I was almost choosing Duvernay, so I'm agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah, I really like the Duvernay pick, especially with Bateman. Like you said, he's banged up. He might not even play Sunday. Who knows? Like, yeah, it's a nice one. Hopefully, he's seems like he's going to be more than just a return man now, Duvernay.
Yeah, he's been looking good the last few weeks. I mean, obviously he's not been exploding, but he's definitely been getting a lot of work from QB. So.
Yeah, I mean, no one could explode against the Bills though from that Ravens team. Nobody.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Very
Strong
good
day. Strong day. Sweet. Thanks, boys. That is Fast Action Friday, week 5 in the books. So we shall see you next week for week 6, which, everybody be aware, is the first bye week. So until then, keep rushing.